Hi guys, welcome to the channel, and this is the another video of our PhD from abroad series. And in this video I will be talking about the land of opportunities, as you might all are aware of, USA. So in this video we will be talking about the application process, the details and the documents, fellowship, cost of living, everything about USA. And in this video I have specially invited Mr. Yash Rana, who has been selected for PhD in the top universities like Harvard, Princeton, Stanford and University of Chicago and many other universities. So since he has been accepted in many universities, it was quite important to invite him so that you all guys can learn about PhD from USA. So let's get started, and if you have not followed me on social media, go follow me on the social media platforms, and don't forget to subscribe the channel for such informative and upcoming videos. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe the channel and like the video. So stay tuned. Here is about Yash Rana and PhD from USA.
Hi Yash, welcome to my channel. And first of all, for your successful application in top 5 US universities, and I'm very happy for you.
Hi, Monu Mishra. Thank you for inviting me to your channel. And it's a great honor to be on this platform which you created, which is I think it's a big effort from your part, and we are all very happy about it. So thank you for inviting me.
So Yash, I will be asking you a couple of questions regarding successful application, PhD application in USA. So as you all know that you have been selected in top 5 universities, including Princeton, Harvard, and Stanford. So the first question I would like to ask you is why did you choose US for your PhD application?
The main reason I chose USA is because a large number of the top scientists of the world are from the US, and I just wanted to be surrounded by this great environment of people doing good science, and the work culture and the work ethic in the US is something that attracted me. So that's why I applied to the US for a PhD position.
Okay, so yes, what are the documents that you need to prepare before applying? Like, first of all, you prepare some documents, some tests and some things. Can you just highlight what kind of things are required prior to your application in US?
So before applying, you need to prepare your CV, which is something that's very important. You have to get a hold of all your certificates that you've collected for your whole life. For example, any internships that you've done, any competitions that you've taken part of, any volunteer work. So all these certificates are very important as they play a huge role in your application. And apart from that, you require mark sheets. Some universities care only about your master's mark sheets, but some universities will ask for your higher secondary and senior secondary mark sheets. And one of the most important documents is your statement of purpose. And this, along with your scores from your exams like the GRE and the TOEFL, this make your application document set, which is required.
Okay, that's great. So what is the full process of applying? Starting from like you have to write an email to professor or something like. What is the full process from informal to formal?
I think so. What I'll highlight you is firstly is the informal part. So what I did personally was to email professors beforehand and try to find labs which are open to taking me as a student. And this is not part of the formal procedure. The formal procedure is basically applying to the university and then they select you. But if you are already in contact with professors, that increases your chance of selection. And that's why I already talked to professors, and I found that some of them were interested in taking me, and that's why I applied to the university.
Okay. And what kind of documents you have uploaded in the application package?
So in the application package, I uploaded my statement of purpose, my CV, all my mark sheets and certificates from all my internships, volunteer work, and I had to submit 3 letters of recommendation, and that was all that was required.
And what about the English language test? What kind of English language test or like standardized tests are required?
So all universities in the US require some sort of English proficiency. All of them except TOEFL, and that's why I wrote the TOEFL exam. But some of them also accept the IELTS examination. So, but I took the TOEFL.
Okay. What about GRE? Is it like compulsory
So,
or it voluntarily?
so GRE, both the general exam and the GRE subject exam, both of them are optional in many universities. So it will be written that it's optional to submit your score. But since it is mandatory in some of the universities I wanted to apply, that's why I gave both the examinations. I gave the GRE Physics and I also gave the GRE General. It is optional in some universities, but to be on the safer side, it's better to give the examination.
And what do you think would be a good score in GRE and TOEFL or like IELTS? Like, does the score matter in your application?
So the score doesn't matter in matter a lot at the later stages of your application, but it still serves as a filter. So a good score, I would say, would be about 310. And if your score is above 310, then they screen you, and from that they look at people who have a good research experience or a good SOP. So the GRE score is a filter at the beginning stage of the application.
Okay, so like we are talking about the filtration. What do you think? Like, what kind of things make your application more, strong? What is the selection criteria? What is the selection criteria for PhD?
I think the main selection point will be at the research experience that students have, which will be in terms of internships and publications, which is a very important point for getting selected. So if you have a good set of internships in a particular field, that will make your application very strong and will make you a good candidate for the university.
And does the grade matter? Like, how much is the minimum grade you require?
So having a good grade is, of course, a plus point. I've seen people who do not have a good grade but still are selected at top universities. But above 8 or above 9 CGPA is something that is required to qualify as a good candidate.
Okay. And what about your fellowship and tuition fees? Like, how much they are offering? Is it like funded or like you have to pay by yourself? And what about the tuition fees?
So most PhD positions in the US are fully funded, since it's very difficult to fund yourself. And you get a funding package which includes your tuition fees and your health insurance and all these things. So for my fellowship at Harvard, after removing all the tuition expenses, I'm left with around $38,000 for a year as living expenses, which is my stipend.
Okay. So another question I would like to ask is, what about the PhD duration? What is the average PhD duration in US? Like in India, it's like 5 years. People go for 5 and a half. What about the US? What is the average PhD duration?
So it depends on what kind of PhD you're doing. If you're doing a PhD in a theoretical science group, it will take around 4 to 5 years. If you're doing experimental science, it will take 5 to 6 years. And the reason why it's this long as compared to the Europe is because you have a initial 1 or 2 years of coursework, and that takes that takes a chunk of your time.
Okay. The question is about the cost of living and the lifestyle, because you said you are getting a good amount of fellowship. 38,000 is like a very good amount. So what is like is it good for your survival in US, or the other universities offer less money, and what is the average cost of living here?
So different universities offer different amount of fellowship, and that's because the cost of living is different in different cities in the US. So, for example, Stanford was giving me a fellowship of $44,000 for a year, and that's not because it's more money. It's just that the cost of living in California is more than that of Boston. So, in Boston, the cost of living for a year is around $25,000, and with my fellowship, I can spend that and also save a bit money with that. So
Okay,
I
so
am comfortably staying.
so it's like whenever it depends on the city you are applying. It's not based on the university. The university give more money because the cost of living is also higher at that place. So
Exactly.
is it like you can live comfortably in wherever you are, but you will not save much, as I said,
Yeah,
because space is
living
not
in a
about saving.
comfortable lifestyle, but not much.
So what do you think like would be a different scenario from, like, you have done your internship from many institutes. I know that you were in Germany as well. So what do you think would be a difference in work culture or PhD scenario from India and other places?
So I think one difference from India and universities in the US or the Europe is access to resources, both in terms of good scientists and also in terms of scientific equipment. So that really allows you to explore as many questions as possible. The access to resources is a very big point as compared to India, and and also the work culture. So in the universities in the US and Europe, you have a good work-life balance, and I feel that sometimes that's missing in India. Um, so that compare alongside with the access to resources makes a good environment to do science.
Okay. The last question I would like to ask you is about, a lot of people are applying in US and Europe, and many times they don't get selected. What would you suggest, like how to make a successful application? Because this video is also accessible to the master students. So at the master level, what can you do? And if you are done your master, what can you do so that you can, go through all these parameters and just make it to the university? What kind of suggestion would you like to offer?
So I guess a very good time to make your applications is in the beginning of your masters, because the whole process of applying for the PhD takes about half a year or 1 year. So if you plan ahead of time, you contact professors, you make a good profile, you start working on your SOP. If you plan ahead of time, it's really good. So if you're in your masters, if you're in the beginning of your masters, you can start looking at people you want to work with. And if you don't get a position after your masters, you can spend a year working in a lab, preferably in good institutes in India as like ISC or TIFR, and then you can apply again. So, because if you have the research experience, then universities will be willing to accept. So if you want to do a PhD abroad, my advice would be to start early, to give your GRE physics well within time, give your TOEFL, start contacting professors before the application deadline, which is in December. So early in August, you start talking to professors. So by the end of November, you know people who are willing to accept you, and then you start filling your applications. Fill it well before the deadline in early December, and then prepare for your interviews. And if you follow all these steps and plan them out properly, then you will definitely get a PhD position in the US.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So that's all. That's all the questions I have. But if still people have any question, I'll contact you for the rest of them. But
Definitely.
the main thing is like I would like to congratulate you once again because it was a great, it was a great of you to just give me some time for the channel because people will learn a lot from me. I can give theoretical knowledge, but someone who has already, got through all these situations, so he can explain it better in that way. So thank you for your time, and I wish you best of luck for your future, especially for the PhD. Because in Indian PhD, I know how things are, but in US PhD, you will know how things are. So best of luck for that, and thanks for your time. And I will contact you if any other information is required. And a party is due from your side, and I expect it to get soon. When you will go from IGI, I will be there to take, the party.
So thank you for inviting me, and it was a good time talking to you.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you very much. Huh? Thank you for your time.
So guys, I think this was a very nice video for you and you have learned a lot from this video. So if you have liked the content, don't forget to subscribe the channel and share the video and follow me on the social media platforms. And for such upcoming video, please press the bell icon so that you do not miss any upcoming notification from my channel. Thank you for your support and keep watching. Let's meet in the another video.